So, hello everyone, I'm Faisal from Gamezo, and I'm here with Lost, the 80 carry for TSM. So, first of all, my question is you've played in OCE, and now you're playing on the LCS. What is the differences between the two regions, in your opinion?
Infrastructure, 100%. It has everything to do with infrastructure. I think back in OC, it's way more bare bones. It's kind of just like the homies, your manager, your coach, the guy who runs the org, and maybe a couple more people, and that's it. Whereas here, there's huge facilities, several, if not tens, or just a lot, diversified into a bunch of different games. So there's just way more resources here. So players can, play on a good PC, have peripherals provided to them, more money, more people, just bigger.
Speaking of transitioning from OCE to the LCS, there's lots of players on TSM that have been playing for a long time, like Power of Evil, Huni, and Sword Art. Has their experience helped you transition from the beginning of Spring Split to now playing on a big stage, playing in a major region like NA?
Yeah, of course. My team has always helped me in review to up my game. I think in particular, I've been talking a lot more with Sword Art just in general throughout like the 7 months that we've been playing together. So I think in particular to him, I've changed the way I play and I see it in a different way. So there is a lot to learn, and I think I'm still not where I want to be in terms of skill level, but we're getting there.
Just playing off the Sword Art point there, I talked to Neo last week, and he's playing with Aframu, who's also a veteran support player. And he said playing with him really helped him with his macro. I was wondering, what has playing with Sword Art helped you improve in your game in pro play?
I think playing with Sword Art has helped my laning phase more. I think I pay more attention to small details and you know see matchups in not the same way I saw them before because they're not as black and white as they always seem. Because when you watch it, it's so easy to like, okay, this side wins, this side wins. But there's always a lot of like intricacies that I missed out on before. So I think that's a skill I picked up playing with Sword Art.
And that's actually really interesting to me. Um, Switching gears a little bit, looking at the rest of the league, there's a lot of bot lanes that seem really strong. Such looking at 100 Thieves with FBI and Huhi, Team Liquid with not Jensen, sorry, with Core JJ as an all-star support player. What, in your opinion, is the strongest bot lane other than yourself and Sword Art? And what do you look forward to playing against?
Mm, I don't know. I don't think it's that easy to tell. I don't think there's like a definite strongest ball line. I think a lot of people would point to 100 Thieves, but in my opinion, I think 100 Thieves, C9, and TL all have very competent and strong ball lanes. So I don't know. I'm not sure.
Um, Going on champions in the bot lane, we've seen a lot of people complain like ADCs aren't strong enough. Like on Reddit, ADCs are strong enough. The items kind of suck. Do you think 80, like playing it as a bot laner in pro play, do you think it's a weak role? Do you think it's a strong role? Where do you think the role stands in the grand scheme of the game?
I'm not one to complain too much. I don't think ADC is too weak, but it is a meme. And I personally also love to complain that my role sucks, where you get like 1v1 by the enemy support or their jungler with three left items and you just takes you out. But I don't think 80 is that weak. I think there is some argument to be made about it because there's Ziggs coming into ball lane, and if you're playing a champion from, you know, historically speaking, another role in your lane's pretty weak. But I wouldn't say that about ball right now.
Again, switching gears to the let's go back to the beginning of Spring Split. You're coming in to replace Doublelift, and now we're in the middle of Summer Split. In your estimation, how do you think you're fulfilling the role of the replacement for Doublelift on TSM? And do you think like there's anything you can improve on looking at the past, I'd say past year of play so far?
I think Peter or Doublelift has played so many years in the LCS at that high level for the league that I think it's pretty hard to draw a comparison between how far I've gone as opposed to how much he's achieved because I've only really been playing. I played on LCS for one split on Equifox, and now this is basically total like two splits and a half now on LCS, which is far less than the amount, he's played. I'm not one to compare too much anyway, so I think I don't know. I think it's like this kind of the journey I'm going on, and hopefully I'm like make strides and I make splashes in the league and show that I'm a top contending AD carry. I think I haven't done the best job at doing that. I don't think you know I'm in contention for like top two or the best 80, and I really do want to be there. So, still got a lot of improvement to do and more shows to make. So, yeah, that's just what I think about it.
Last week on the post game interview, Triple said that he didn't, or sorry, not Triple, NXI said he didn't want to be remembered for any certain play. He just didn't. He didn't really. He said he didn't really want to be remembered. Is that your mentality, or do you want to be remembered for doing something spectacular in the league or on the world stage?
NXI said he didn't want to be remembered.
Yeah, well, to be fair,
No way he said it.
Dash asked like, "How do you want to be remembered?" And NXI's like initial response is that he didn't want to be remembered, and then added on to that saying he didn't want to be remembered for a certain play or certain build.
Oh, maybe he meant like I don't want to be remembered for something niche. I want to be remembered as like a great play, not just like a one-off thing. Maybe that's what he meant. I'm not sure.
Okay, I
Um,
was surprised by the answer as well. To be honest, I was very
yeah, for
confused.
sure. Um, I do want to be remembered. I want to be remembered as, in the end goal of, how I see myself ideally in the imminent future, a top 80 carry in North America and a top 80 carry. I like hopefully one day in the world.
That makes sense. Always gotta have good goals, right?
Yeah, they're pretty far away, but gonna work towards them.
Makes sense. Recently, last week there was it was the Friday was deemed upset day. A lot of the bottom teams were being the top teams, and it seems like it's continued throughout the week and continuing to this week. Do you think it's just a fact of the bottom teams stepping up and like leveling up their play, or is it a fact of the top teams slipping up and getting complacent?
I don't think the top teams are getting complacent. I just think overall LCS, internationally hasn't been amazing, and honestly, we're just not the best region right now. We're not a super top region. So that being said, the top teams will slip up because if we were a very top contending region, I think you would see a pretty big difference in the top teams versus the bottom teams in the league. But as you can see, a bunch of the top teams are just slipping up, and the bottom teams are stepping up, in my opinion, in those games. So congratulations to them. But yeah, our top team is definitely having a couple blunders during the weeks, but we're all human. That's what it is.
And last question for all the TSM fans out there that are maybe like after the couple losses, like they're a bit concerned. The wins, they're feeling a bit better. Do you have anything to say to them, like from you, to reassure them and going into the rest of the season and coming into playoffs soon?
All I can say is we're doing our best. We're putting in as many hours as we can. The amount of work being put in is not in question, honestly. We're practicing pretty hard. And whether or not that practice translates to better play and us, being the top team or being a very, very strong team heading into playoffs is, up to that practice and how well we play. But, we can't guarantee that. But all we can say is we're just doing our best, man.
All right. Well, thank you very much for taking the time to sit with me.
Awesome. Thanks to you too.
Also, by the